We're good.
You're missing something?
No, we have, we are.
Sorry, they got away from
Not a problem. All right, we'll now call the November town board meeting of Spring Grove into order. So we do have a quorum this evening. We've got board members Doug Reinke, Emily Chastain, Zane Carroll, Lisa Van Dievender, Bob Herbst, our town clerk, Jenny Holthouse. We have our planning commissioner president, Jeff Holthouse, and we have council, AJ Sickman present this evening. So with that, we will fire right into it. Jenny had distributed the meeting minutes for October electronically right after the last meeting, very efficiently. Are there any requested changes, updates, modifications to the minutes as submitted? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the minutes are approved as submitted. Thank you very much, Jenny. We have circulated the vouchers for approval. I believe it was Reinhardt's for standard maintenance and RPNF for streetlights. So all the vouchers have been rendered for approval and we are good to go. We will jump right to AJ.
Okay, I sent some materials from A+ Signs for a sign that Richmond Endodontics would like to install. I have looked at dimensions in reference to our ordinance, and it is in compliance from everything I can tell. So I don't know, the last time we dealt with this was when we were dealing with ENT. And I don't know if Steve Higginbotham issued an improvement location permit or how we kind of handled that. It's been a while. So I can go that route with Steve, or if it's the board's pleasure, I could just green light this based on my review of the ordinance and the dimensions that were sent to me.
In the interest of time for them, I would suggest we just make a motion to approve it and green light it for them if that is sufficient for the board.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Motion to approve the Richmond Endodontics sign as proposed.
Right first.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, you are authorized to advise the endodontics group that they may install their sign.
They will be happy. They've called me a few times, so.
I would imagine so. Advertising is important, so.
That's right. I will let them know that. The only other item that I have is down under old business for the fire contract, so we'll circle back and do it.
Yeah, I think probably the only time we would need to do something more formal is if it's outside the ordinance, and then we can get the zone BZA engaged in that piece of it, so.
Perfect.
Okay, very good. All right, a lot of activity on the financial front, so Jenny.
All right, so I distributed the October financials via email, so that has been presented, and we move on to the fun stuff. So the state audit of 21 through 24 has almost been completed, pending next week's exit conference, and we don't have a formal report yet. I think she sent everyone a Teams invite. Feel free, if you have questions or if you just want to know, she said it'd take about 30 minutes. You are encouraged to participate, you don't have to. She wants one other person besides me, just for formality's sake, but if that doesn't happen, she can do something else, but I think we can get somebody else. So I think Doug's gonna try to get on there, his schedule permitting.
Yep.
The prior audit that was performed in 2022 had several items that at that point were agreed to with the state. Some of those were not addressed, so this audit will have some repeat findings. One of those is a separate motor vehicles restricted fund is required to be established according to ordinance established in 2019. I have established that fund. However, to get into compliance, 50% of the motor vehicle excise tax that we receive each month is supposed to go into that. So what we've received through the end of October is a total of half of what we've received is $5,892.30. So I need to get approval to move that over into the new restricted fund. And then from November on, half will be going into the restricted, half will be going into the regular unrestricted. So that's first order of business is to get that moved, approved, and all of that.
All right, so a motion to approve the funds to be moved from the accounts as,
Motor vehicle general fund over to motor vehicle restricted fund.
motor vehicle general fund to the motor vehicle restricted fund.
I'll make a motion.
I will second the motion.
All in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed?
Okay, thank you very much. I will get that done. The second thing from last time and again this time, the town is required to prepare a receipt for all revenue. So every deposit, we receive it, we put it in the bank report, we also put it in the fund report. However, we're supposed to also be doing a receipt. It doesn't get sent anywhere because it's all EFT. We just are required to do it. So I've gone back from the beginning of 25 and have gotten through, what did I say, August?
August,
Yeah.
sorry.
So far to update 2025, she said, it's already a fault in the last audit, don't do that. Just start 2025 forward. So that's getting caught up and it will be caught up soon. Internal control training is required. So we all know that, and I have several certificates of that having been completed. As long as it's completed by the end of the year and I have the certificate, we're good. However, that will be for this next audit. So it's still going to be a fault on this, the one they're completing now. Let's see. Also, in last audit, and we haven't done it, independent contractors must have approved contracts approved by the board before receiving payment. So, obviously, we have AJ, he's an independent contractor, that's all already taken care of, but mowing, snow removal, paving, striping, anything. I'm not supposed to pay him until we have a contract signed by a quorum.
So each time, like for instance, each time they mow or just like the season of
Just the
mowing?
season.
Okay.
Okay.
I was gonna say, cause that could get,
Yeah, and can we do like 2-year contracts or does it have to be like, or
I don't-
3-year contracts?
I think that there is no restriction that Audra told me about as long as we have one. And as you know, we had trouble with our prior mowing because we couldn't get any information on that one. And we haven't gotten one on our current mower. So that being said, that can be done in the future. However, for this year's snow removal, we have a contract here and we're kind of under the gun. We don't really have time to go and get quotes and all that stuff. So this is from Reinhardt's, who has done our, I don't know how long he's done our snow removal. So if we want to move forward with that, then we've always just had one person sign it, but if we just have everybody sign along here, that would do well. Or if you guys want to do something differently, we can, your call.
Is it acceptable that even if we have one authorized signature, but we have it noted in the minutes that the board has reviewed the contract and has approved the contract? Is that sufficient or?
The quorum needs to sign it. However, if it has been pre-approved in the minutes, I can go ahead and pay, even if we haven't gotten signatures yet.
Okay.
Because I specifically asked that question.
Okay.
Where's the order? How does this work? So
It is the same, I mean, is technically a contract if we have a proposal that we've received for striping, as an example. I mean, and we've agreed to that and signed off on that. Is an acceptable contract?
She did not get into any details, so I'm gonna say yes.
The answer is yes. And I thought we had ordinances or policies on the books that set a minimum threshold for contracts, because
$1,000.
it's 1,000,
Yes.
okay. Because I use Richmond as an example. If I did a contract for every minor purchase, that's all I would do. And so, yeah, we have a minimum, I think it's 25. So we may want to look at that to increase that threshold, but I would say certainly a proposal issued by the contractor should be sufficient for state.
That's awesome.
Where we are now with Reinhardt, I'd like to, moving forward, have a contract for him in place for mowing anyway. So I'm gonna pursue that.
Yeah.
The tree cutback, I don't think we need to do it every year. They did it this year, but it was done, from what I understand, from Jenny's records, kind of on an as-needed basis because the trash trucks couldn't get through and they were complaining.
Yes.
So I'm late to the party as far as that goes, but to me, I think we might be able to get it in an every other year cycle and kind of save some money.
Yeah, I think just for the standard mowing piece, that would be one thing, and then anything that's done ad hoc or.
Yeah.
Or as needed would be.
Like trees that fall, but I think that would fall under the $1,000 threshold. And I'm not sure, Jenny, how should that be handled? Because that still needs to be brought to the board, or because of the $1,000 threshold, we're in compliance.
Well, I'm not sure when we did that $1,000 threshold, but she didn't ask about that. Everything that was in her audit selection was more than 1,000, so I didn't ask her. But I'm gonna ask her on our call on Wednesday.
Yeah, whatever it is, I'm fine with acting in accordance.
So for the snow removal though, for like, because that's immediate, obviously, so we just need to like review the contract and as a board and make a motion to approve it as written and then sign off on it to get us through for the snow season.
What she told me was that it needed to be board approved and signed by the quorum. So I would say yes.
Okay.
AJ, is that how you, okay.
Okay, I would agree. And if they submitted a proposal, we can sign that to bind the contract, or if you want to provide me with the details, I'll draft it and we can use that as a form every year going forward as well.
Yeah, and this is kind of the standard format that they
It's
provide in the
boilerplate.
past.
That's what he did last year.
What I didn't specifically look at is how compare price wise to last year's. Jeff, did you look at that at all? Or?
It seemed to me like he was a little bit higher, but not much. I didn't go back and look at the exact number. But he's thrown in a stipulation for fuel surcharge if need be, and so he's just trying to cover himself.
Yeah.
But he was.
Which was, that was in there last year, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I did send him a note, when the storm was rolling in, I said, if you could please take care of this, I can assure you that the board will review the proposed contract in short order, but, please take care of, any needs, in the storm, we'll get back with you, so. And I think they did, so.
Yeah, do something.
Was it? I didn't
Yeah.
see it.
Didn't know anything.
So do we want to have a discussion, I guess, with the proposal? Again, I've done, I think, a pretty solid job over the last several years, so.
Yeah.
Could be a little late in the game to change gears at this point.
Indeed.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, so would entertain a proposal or a motion to approve the Reinhardt snow removal and road treatment contract as submitted by Chad Reinhardt.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right.
All right, well, that's going around for signature. A few other things that were specific to this audit period. No records were found for a Quaker Hill rent payment in 2022. Excuse me. The town cannot reimburse for sales tax, so any reimbursements to board members, which was me, must not include sales tax, or the board member can use an exemption form to make the purchase. So lesson learned. When ARPA funds were received in 2021, there is a separate federal grant page that should have been submitted to track the receipts and the expenditures, and it wasn't. That will be a fault in this audit, but for our current period, it's all gone anyway, so it doesn't matter. The CDs, First Merchant CDs, were incorrectly reported to the state as cash rather than investments. And also, a government cannot allow a CD to roll over. You have to let it mature and then reinvest it if you decide to. Again, that will be a fault from last year, last audit period, but it's already gone, so it does not apply unless we get CDs again. And that is it. So, really, not bad considering.
Thank you, yes,
Yes.
very much.
Any questions?
That's a lot,
Any?
yeah, that's a lot.
Good job.
Yeah.
Yes, well,
Thanks for, all of your attention to detail with all of it.
all right, any other questions for Jenny? All right, Jeff, we will swing it over to you.
I feel like I've gone already. So I don't really have anything further to add unless there's things that be brought up for my attention.
We still need a couple of trees cut down.
Yeah, well, Chad knows about that, and
Okay.
he did do
They got the
that.
new lights up.
Yeah, the
but
lights
There's
are
a
nice
tree
and
that's
bright.
gonna fall and take them right back
Uh-huh.
out again.
Yep, it's
So-
pretty good.
He's
But the new
on
lights-
my list of frustrations at the
Okay.
moment, because there's been several conversations here, so
Maybe we should have signed that contract.
slam.
Yeah.
Say again.
Yeah.
This focus may have quickly
Yes.
shifted gears here this last week. So,
Okay.
okay. All right, next up, the 2026 proposed fire contract. So AJ, looks like you had gathered some data at this point, so we can talk about that.
Yep, I sent an Excel spreadsheet. There were multiple books covering an array of years. I just printed the most current so that we could see the proposed multiplier. It shows our certified AV at 12.9 million with a multiplier of 0.0083, which I don't know how they arrive at the different multipliers for the different participating entities, but we are substantially less than Wayne Sanitary District and Wayne Township. So again, I'm not sure of the rationale as to how they arrive at these formulas, but I was asked to get that information, so I did.
I appreciate it.
Sure.
I love spreadsheets. Okay, so I printed out 2025 and 2026. The way they get to the multiplier is they add up all the assessed values and, we are 0.0066%, right, et cetera. Now, that was last year. I guess this year is 0.0083. That being said, if you look at 25s, they adjusted ours last year for a 33% adjustment, which I don't think was necessarily tied to any particular number. That's just what they came back with and said, that's what we'll do. And so last year's, they had this 33% adjustment that adjusted us down to get to what we paid last year. Also last year and this year, but I had to download it and print it to get to this because it didn't show on the preview. They calculate Wayne Townships, however, they decrease it markedly, both last year and this year, based on their fire tax levy. So that's what Wayne Township gets for their tax levy for fire protection. So they reduce it, and that's what Wayne Township, they reduced it at over 300,000 this year, about the same last year. So they reduce it to that. We don't have a fire tax levy. These are, as Annie and I know from February's discussions, these are the tax rates because this is really important to me. And if you look at it, I found where Wayne Township has their fire and EMS tax levy. We have 0. Richmond proper had 0. Now, Richmond Center Sanitary has some tax levy. So I don't know what Richmond gets for their fire tax levy in dollar amounts, but if they're gonna adjust Wayne's down to 800 some thousand based on what they get, well, we don't get any for a fire EMS tax levy. Maybe that doesn't matter, but it just doesn't make sense when you look at the spreadsheets year to year.
And what value is it that they're adjusting basically to?
This assessed value, this total assessed value, which includes the exempt. So they took off almost 5 million.
Yeah.
I have no conclusions, I just wanted to show you the fun
Yeah.
stuff I did with the Excel spreadsheets.
And what is the process by which a tax levy is, I guess, even created?
Or fire tax levy, I've never even heard of that. And so I guess I'm trying to understand exactly what it is that you're saying. Are they getting a credit in an equal amount for that levy?
So you mean Wayne Township?
Yeah.
Yes, and Jeff called Susan Isaacs from Wayne Township last year when all of this blew up. And he said, how do you guys afford this? And she said, oh, we don't, we can't pay what they tell us to pay. We get this much in our fire tax levy, and they have agreed to accept that. Last year, what they were charged supposedly was $1.1 million, and what their tax levy was that they actually paid was $800,000. Similar numbers this year. I mean, both of them are a little bit higher.
Yeah.
Susan basically strong-armed them and said, this is what we can pay, we're not paying anymore. So, for what that's worth.
They're basically collecting a tax though to pay.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's all said and done.
Yes.
So,
And we're not.
We're not, according to this, which I don't know what all this is titled, Notice to the Taxpayers of Wayne County of Tax Rates Charged. Shows all the tax districts and what makes up everybody's taxes in each district.
So it sounded like, I mean, basically they want to assess a small levy. Those taxes will be collected and could be applied towards that, but that sounds like a lot of administrative work for
I can look at the
$75,000.
process. Yeah, I'm not sure what the process is to implement that particular levy, but I can spend some time on it to see if that's something that we might be able to do for, it would be 26, and keep doing it 27 now.
Yeah.
The budget process.
Yeah.
And I hate to raise taxes when we're being expected to pay, but Richmond proper does not have a fire EMS levy. So we have to raise our taxes to pay, and I don't want Richmond's taxes to go up either. But it just seems very not consistently applied for this.
Assuming it's coming from some other tax that's applied.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it works.
Okay. Well,
But
so we got basically an adjustment in the assessed value last year, and that's what held it constant year over year.
Our meeting with Rob.
Right.
yeah,
And then this year it went up 26%.
But what's interesting, though, is that our assessed value actually year over year is down by 2 million, right?
Yeah.
But the multiplier went up. That's really what happened, so, and the net of everything is a $16,000 increase, overall.
I'm like, we need a strong arm.
I know.
I guess, well, part of my frustration with, I understand that they, made some concessions or, they gave us a discount on last year's. But then to turn around and just basically bump it right back up to where it was,
Yeah,
that's, I don't know, yeah.
but I still feel like, last year when they gave us the discount, I mean, I think it was like more in good faith because their records were not accurate.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
so I think that was an easy, like, okay, this is how we're gonna fix that on our part.
Right. But it didn't like create a new
Yeah,
baseline. It just
yeah,
like,
Yeah,
just bumped right. It was like,
Yeah.
it'll be nice this year,
yeah,
and
but we'll
next
get
year.
that,
Yeah.
we'll get it back or something.
I mean, the one open question I would have would be, I think I get the assessed value piece. It's, how is that multiplier determined to go from 0.66% to 0.83%? Because ultimately
It
that's,
just adds up to 100,000 based on Spring Grove, Wayne Township, and Richmond. It just adds up to 100,000. So basically, they get all the assessed values, add it to 100%, and this much is ours.
so they know what their budget is and they
This much
back
is, yeah.
back into it. So.
Yeah. But then, here, this goes up to what the prior year fire department expenditures was, but that's not what they're gonna get because they reduced Wayne Township correctly to what Wayne Township gets in their tax levy.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Is there any formula embedded in this?
It is literally the E8 divided by the grand total.
Okay.
I mean, that is,
Yeah.
the
So
revised
it's just
one is-
basically assessed value out of total budget is all it is, so. So we went from basically 0.7% to 0.8% is the ultimate change. It's all said.
And when do we need to sign the contract, the fire contract, or accept it?
History says it doesn't matter.
By the end of the year, we feel good about that?
We didn't even get last year's until February of 2025.
So we're way ahead
Yeah.
of schedule.
We are way ahead of schedule. Yeah,
Your issue remains, and we've talked about this ad nauseum, probably over a decade, but you have a rather necessary but large nonprofit presence that
mhm,
makes up a lot of your
Yeah.
AV.
yeah,
The interesting part though is, I'm actually, with that being said, I'm surprised the assessed value, came down
I agree on that.
4 million.
Yeah, right.
That confuses me too. I haven't moved that much. It went up.
So maybe we should consider ourselves blessed.
Yes, I get it.
maybe. I was trying to think, did they tear down any buildings? Did they do anything that,
The animal hospital closed their doors, maybe that's it.
That's it.
That was it.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
So we have some more details on how it's actually calculated now.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we have to collectively either agree or disagree with the $79,000 figure. That's all said. So, I mean, are there any specific questions we want AJ to take back at this point in time?
I don't know about specific questions. I was gonna do some digging that I did not do last month, so apologies, because I would like to know, I'd like to really kind of see, how we stack up as far as tax exempt and taxable, you know, like versus the other communities that are paying into it and, you know, how that, yeah. I just, for my own curiosity, I have some digging to do too. Thanks for your digging, Jim. I'll dig too.
I guess maybe if you could do some research, AJ, on if we were to entertain implementing a levy to, in essence, put on a small amount so that we make sure that we cover this outside of the general fund. I mean, again, I think the difficult part to explain to homeowners and taxpayers is you know, what's the justification for this now versus the way we've always handled it?
And is the contract even needed?
In the past, when I've asked that question, the response that I got was that service would be provided in the event of a fire emergency. But I feel like we talked about homeowners insurance, but maybe someone looked into that.
Yeah, I did. I called mine and it means nothing to them. If we have a fire contract, all that matters is distance from fire departments and the fire department, or fire hydrants and the fire department's ratings and their proximity.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, in the interest of fairness, I have no personal issue paying, you know, a share at the end of the day. I mean, it's a service and we're gonna get the service if we need the service. It's just, there's, you know, some
Yeah, you want it to be fair.
black magic in
Yeah,
terms of
yeah.
how it's actually assessed in terms of the value, so.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I would feel good about paying zero. It's,
Right.
it's what's the fair
Yeah.
amount, so.
More digging and more to come.
All right.
Yeah.
So sound like we have some more data for the board to consider at this point. I guess if there are additional questions that you would think of that we need to pose or forward to the city, let's make sure we have those assembled for the next meeting. But hey, we're getting there. We just know how it's calculated at this point. Don't understand all the calculations.
Right, you just come up
It
with
is
a
calculated.
number and make the math get there.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other business that needs to come before the board? Let's see. Things calm in the heights other than the trees and the signs and
Things are pretty calm.
volcano waterfall.
It's pretty calm on Waterfall.
They fix that water main in front of your house, the road.
They're still working on that, aren't they?
Yeah.
They were across
Well,
the
you know,
street.
like after, I think they're doing something with the water lines.
Okay.
Yeah,
Some
because they
different
do
thing.
like I think they're doing like 5 houses a year or something. So, you know, like what it is now is when the water company has to come shut your water or whatever, they have to find it and then like, you know, use one of those old tools. So they're just updating that. But as far
Same thing
as,
on waterfront.
yeah,
I
But
think we
it's-
were the start of that.
Yeah.
yeah, which will be nice for them, I guess. But then, you know, last month when I was talking about, are they gonna fix that? Not even a couple of days
Yeah.
later,
Started leaking.
it started leaking again. And so now they're back at it.
Goodness.
So. I
And
think
they
it's
did have
just-
the road repaired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just a work in progress.
Yeah, we had a several $100 water bill out of the blue. And, I mean, and I forget what the water amount, how many gallons, but it was enough to fill up several swimming pools, you know?
Yeah,
So, and then they came back, they realized something was read wrong, but that's when they like realized, oh, this needs raised up or
Yeah,
adjusted for
yeah,
better access.
yeah.
And then I saw they were doing everybody else's down the road too,
Yeah.
so.
yeah. They did about 5 houses last year. And so I think that's what they're doing now.
I did notice, since they had Bridge Avenue closed, there's been an influx of semis coming down
Mm.
Waterfall Road.
Yeah,
And I've seen a lot of people have to get off the road for that. I didn't know about signage. I haven't been paying attention down.
Oh, we have it cleared, no trucks allowed.
I know there's one
Yeah,
on this end, but
I was
I didn't know on Wayne
There's
County
one on that
side.
end.
There's one on that end too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
And they're ignored just as well as the ones
Yes.
in Rochester.
It's open now, but yeah, every other day I'd see a semi going down. I'm like, this is crazy. You're gonna hurt somebody or kill somebody down here.
mhm. Yeah, it's,
And I don't know how that bridge is holding up with that kind of weight.
gosh, I don't know either. That's, if only they knew what that bridge had been through, maybe they wouldn't be taking their trucks
Oh, they
over
wouldn't
it.
care.
That's true.
So board, I guess I do have something I'd like to bring up. If it's agreeable, I would like to talk to Rob about the fire contract. In a man-to-man, very friendly chat, find out kind of with this influence that we met with you last year, and we felt like we had reached a baseline that we would work from moving forward. And so we're all a little bit surprised at the jump here. Can we reset back to this and kind of look ahead for many years so that we know what to expect? And maybe we get a 5% bump or something that seems more reasonable because we feel like we're blindsided here. Thoughts?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
I mean, the worst the man can say is, yeah, that ain't gonna work, whatever.
Don't know if you know that.
Right,
Yeah,
Any insight's better than no insight.
at least we'll have attempted it, so,
right,
okay.
sounds good. Let us know.
So December's meeting not happening as normal, or,
No, we normally have the December.
oh, December, we
Yeah,
okay.
July is the one that we typically take.
Christmas, okay, we have the December.
December,
Yeah,
hour
so we
early.
usually do an hour early,
Yes.
right? And then Christmas dinner. So I guess we need to get a count at some point in time in the next couple weeks for reservation for Christmas dinner.
We're good. Pretty go. I asked her before I left.
We're good.
yeah.
Days.
Yeah,
It'd
that's
be the
a lot.
9th of December.
Yeah, so
Uh-huh.
I worked that day, so it's hard to.
It's crazy.
I believe I'm out of time. Yes, unfortunately,
I guess I would think it's +2, and if anything comes up, I'll let whoever, are you setting the reservation up, or?
Yes, I will do that.
Yeah, you put it down for 2.
AJ, will you get back to us?
I will, yeah, let me talk to the wife.
So we've got 2, 4, 6,
Yes.
8. And then maybe more. 8, maybe 10, and then maybe more. 10, and then maybe more. Okay, look.
Not bringing my kids, my kids is not
Like-
going.
There's such good entertainment though.
Yes.
They're wild right now.
all right, okay. Would entertain a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
A second.
All in favor? Aye. Good job.
Oh, yeah.